Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk, where I get the opportunity to sit down with the experts in areas like mindset, mindfulness, balance, and well being. We dive into the questions that we all want answered. Each episode is designed to help you gain practical insights that you can integrate into your daily life. In episode 2, I catch up with Stephanie Nguyen, mindset coach from Masters of Achievement. Together, we delve into the topics of the mind-body connection, resilience, and overcoming burnout. So, without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Previously on episode 1.
And she looks after a lot of staff, but in herself, she was feeling depleted, really. Emotionally, mentally, everything was really taxing for her, and she felt like she wasn't supported from higher up. And I knew that a big part of her physical symptoms was a result of the environment that she was in.
So I think the biggest thing is when you are managing people, it is very energy giving.
Yeah,
very energy giving. Because people are very complex.
We want to show up in our life, we want to show up in our work, with our families. We want to be the best version of ourselves. But sometimes when we're in this position or stuck in that fight-flight response, it really hinders us to be the best version of ourselves.
That connection.
And I think it's also important to note that if you feel this way, you're not alone, because I'm sure we've experienced this. I know
it's normal.
Have personally.
Yeah.
But it's how you get back up.
Episode 2.
Learnt with you is that when you actually slow down, you're not really stopping you from progressing, but you're actually taking that time to reflect, analyze, digesting what's happened so that you can then propel forwards. Because I think we get caught in the do, and we do so much, but then it's like being busy doesn't mean being productive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I think one great thing that you mentioned is definitely just having that time to readjust your thinking or your mindset about work is not always the everything.
Yeah.
Right? And the other thing was making sure that you have a particular hobby or something that you enjoy that you can unwind so that work doesn't consume your mind 24/7. Is that right?
I think another thing I thought, that just came to mind also is the importance of taking that time out to do the things that you don't normally do. Because I think especially as really ambitious people who are like super high performers, have such high expectations of themselves, we're constantly, like you're saying, looking for the next thing. Like, what's the next thing that I can do? What's the next thing? And what we're actually doing is we are increasing our threshold to stress, increasing our threshold to this pressure that we put on ourselves. And it gets to a point where we've just increased that threshold so high that our normal becomes someone else's extremely stressful.
I totally understand.
And having that time to step back and, like you're saying, reflect and actually digest what you've done, honor what you've done, it helps to bring that threshold down so that when that time comes again, you can bring that up. And I'm sure from a physical point of view, there are effects to that, right? When you're constantly operating and pushing that threshold higher and higher.
Yeah, 100%. So the idea is that your mind talks to your body and your body talks to your mind. Chiropractic is about the nervous system and how the body operates. And in a high pressure environment, whether it be at work or at home or just even yourself, your expectations of yourself, I think it's so important to build resilience in that stress threshold that you were talking about. Because what we can get caught in is that the adrenaline of go, we don't recognize it, but our body does. So, some of the signs that can show up is things like headache or shortness of breath or a change in their posture. So someone who is generally what we call a sympathetic dominance pattern generally will have their shoulders up, in.
Oh my gosh, that's me.
I definitely need to start looking after you now. Not only that, right, so your body's stuck in this kind of position when you're in sympathetic dominance, But then everything that we do is always in that position, like whether you're driving, you're at the computer, when you're looking down at your laptop, it all encourages this kind of forward head posture. And no wonder why people are coming in with, physical symptoms, neck pain, shoulder pain, headache, shortness of breath, digestive issues. But in the essence is that their body isn't able to perform at its best, right? So, and that's what we all want. We want to show up in our life. We want to show up in our work, with our families. We want to be the best version of ourselves. But sometimes when we're in this position or stuck in that fight-flight response, it really hinders us to be the best version of ourselves. So,
that connection between physical and like mental is so powerful, and I'm sure you see it in a lot of your clients. Like sometimes they come in for a physical issue, but really it's the stress in their environment or the foods that they're eating or their sleep patterns, like all these other sort of non-physical related things, and that might be the cause of their back pain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the we want to find the root cause, and it's generally a ripple effect. So part of what I've been doing as a chiropractor and studying in nutrition and doing Pilates is really understanding why is your body like this in the first place. What drove you to that position? What was your previous history? What were your previous injuries that kind of led to where you are today? Because it doesn't happen by coincidence, right? Signs and symptoms are generally never coincidental, but because of factors over time, what we call micro traumas that build up into our body. So I guess what we want to do is look at, okay, well, how's our nutrition? How's our sleep? How's our movement? How's our mindset? How's our outlook in life? Because those things actually tie up to you being the best version, being more resilient, being, more motivated. Because it all
and filling that cup.
Yeah, 100%.
So that they can actually, like your client, being able to give more to their team.
Yeah, 100%. And then I guess the other thing is, and why I think this conversation is so crucial, is because when you're stuck in overwhelm and stress, right, you have no motivation to want to exercise, to eat well, to go out. So you can see how it feeds into someone's personal life as well. We might feel a bit more withdrawn. We might feel like we don't want to eat healthy. I just want to grab a pizza, whatever is quick and easy, because again, our moods affect our mindset and that affects our choices.
Yeah, I've definitely been through that this year. Where you and it's the same like mentally as well, when people go through their own sort of mindset or self-development journeys where things get really tough because we're uncomfortable, and in that feeling of uncomfortable is when you're growing. That's what as we know that. But that tends to be the moment where people recluse because they go, oh my God, like this is really hard. I don't know if I'm gonna like be successful. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the other side of this. Everyone else seems to be succeeding. Let me just be in my shell and sort of ignore. I guess it's kind of a protection mechanism as well. And from a physical sense, just choosing not to exercise. It's easier to stay in a comfy bed.
And watch Netflix.
Watch Netflix. Like it's easier to eat the bad food rather than like putting that time into feed your body with the things that are actually going to nourish it.
And I think it's also important to note that if you feel this way, you're not alone, because I'm sure we've experienced this. I know
it's normal
personally.
But
it's how you get back up. Right? It's finding the right resources that is simple and easy and direct that can actually help you get out of that cycle. That's the true turning moment, because you have choice. You can have a choice to say, well, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life, or I've been living this way for 20 to 30 years and now's the time I want to make some change. And it doesn't have to be huge changes, just one small thing will create that momentum to creating bigger, better changes for your health, for your career, pretty much everything in your life, right?
And you touched on a really good point. This is what we went through in my reflecting goal setting workshop last week, is this idea of, I think when people, especially like thought leaders or mentors or coaches, I think a lot of them tend to shy away from like bringing to light that we go through this several times a year. It's not like oh, hey, I'm I was in this really bad phase of my life and now I've overcome it and I'm never going to go through it again. Like, we will go through it all the time. But it's like you're saying, how do we, firstly, that self-awareness piece, realizing, okay, maybe my physical posture is becoming a bit more prawn-like. Maybe I'm reclusing a little bit. I'm choosing to put things off rather than do or like not go walking when 3 weeks ago that would be something really easy for me. So recognizing those signs and then having a plan in place to overcome it. And the thing is, it might happen again. You might be in this spot again 2 weeks later. But it's about, how do you have that resilience? How do you have that grit to pick yourself back up and get yourself out of it again? Which I think a lot of people don't talk about.
100%.
Everyone always talks about how, like, I went through this and now I've overcome it. But it's like, no, I'm pretty sure you're gonna, like, life's gonna throw curveballs, and maybe in a few months, you know, like, I'm like, right now I'm feeling demotivated about going to the gym. That's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm never gonna go to the gym again. It just means in this point in time I gotta do some work to pick myself up. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for episode 3.